Good morning everybody, and today we're going to make a sort of doll, and today may I introduce you to Lydia. Hello. Lydia. So where does she fit into Philippians? Right, remember these characters? Right, when we were doing the introduction to Philippians, we met these characters, didn't we? The Philippian jailer and Paul, who was in prison. Remember we had the sock puppets and their sock puppet story, how they were in jail, and then there was an earthquake and they got out of jail. Very miraculous. But before they met the Philippian jailer and before they were put in prison, they met Lydia, because when they first went to Philippi, they went down to the river to see if there were people there who knew God and wanted to pray with them, and they could tell them more about Jesus. And one of the people they met was Lydia. Lydia, she is a lady who is trading in purple cloth. And purple cloth was a luxury item. So we have to assume Lydia was quite well off. We also know that she had her own house, and she invited Paul and Silas to stay with her after they got out of prison. So I thought it'd be nice to make Lydia. Now, what do we need today? So, yes, before I get on to that, just to say, because it fits in with today's passage, Keith is going to talk about considering everything as loss for the sake of Christ. And I'm thinking that Paul is a beautiful example of that. He could live in contentment whether he had money or not having money. And I thought Lydia was also a good example of that, because although she was a wealthy lady and an entrepreneur, had her own business selling purple cloth, she gave it all up for the sake of having Paul and Silas stay in her house and starting the church in Philippi in her house. So everything she had, she put at the disposal of Jesus Christ. So she's a good example for us today. Right, now then, I was inspired to make Lydia when I looked at this mouthwash. Okay, I thought, yes, that would make a good Lydia. So that was where I started from. But unfortunately I put it in the dishwasher, so it's gone a bit bloated at the end. So I can't use that because it doesn't stand up. So I looked around and I found this sort of thing. What's this? Delicates wash. But also a squeezy bottle, any sort of bottle, even shampoo bottle, anything like that. She's quite tall, isn't she? I wanted to make her in her purple dress, so that was my starting point. But first of all, before we get onto the dress, we bring out our old friend, the Play-Doh, salt dough, that we made last week. There it is, I've got some there. It's a bit sticky, that's why I've added some flour to it. So I've been working with that, and I've been moulding it to get this shape here. You can see that's going to be her head. So I've just been moulding it with my hands. I've added quite a lot of flour to make it a bit stiffer than last week, so that it would hold the features. So it's quite stiff. And then I have, with a cocktail stick, thought about just making marks for her eyes. Now then, if you don't want to do salt dough, you could use your own Play-Doh if you have that, or plasticine if you have that. And if you don't want to do that, you could look around for something else that's the right sort of shape. Maybe like, I was thinking maybe a ping pong ball or something. Right, so not very beautiful this one, but never mind. We don't know how old she was, do we? Presumably she was quite established if she had her own house. And she invited other people to meet there, and she invited the church to meet there as well. Presumably she was quite established, maybe a widow. We don't really know, do we? But we do know she put everything at the disposal of Jesus. Right, I'm afraid my lady doesn't look very attractive. It doesn't matter that much. There we are. So I've just put some eyes and some mouth in, and then that can go in the oven, and I would say bake it for 2 hours at a very low oven, 100 or less, 2 hours. Leave it in the oven to dry out completely. When it's dry, you need to paint it. So here's one I've painted it pale orange, sort of flesh coloured, not very pretty either. After it's painted, it needs to dry, and then with some felt tips, I just added the eyes. It's not working. I did spend a little time doing this because as you work with the felt tip, it rubs off all the salt dough. So I'll just put the eyes on and just put the mouth on. This is going to take a long time, I think. Right, so you got the idea. I've just added the features a little bit. I think I would work a bit longer on that to get the colour going on for the eyes and the mouth. If you don't want to use felt tips, again, you could use paint, that's fine. Okay, so once that's on, we then do the hair. So with our glue, now I would use normal craft glue, but for quickness today I'm just using super glue. I'll probably get it all over me, so you'll probably find me stuck to the puppet. And get a long piece of wool, any colour wool. I decided she would have white hair, but so you get a long piece of wool and you just add it on like that. You get the general idea what she looks like, yeah? I would, obviously that's not very much wool, I would add more. I did add more when I finished this one this morning. Okay, and after that she needs her little kerchief. So with a bit of purple fabric, what I did, I folded it in half like that, and then I just glued it on the top like that, so that she had a kerchief on her head to match her outfit. Okay, so that's a general idea of how I made the head. You can do it differently if you want to. And to make the dress, I took some purple fabric. Now I have to give thanks to Jill Peppercorn, my friend who makes the handbags, because she gave me some of her lining. So it's nice purple lining. And what you can do is make 2 holes for the arms. Use pipe cleaners for the arms. Now then, this one's a bit smaller than yesterday, so I think I think I'll still use 2 pipe cleaners. And it goes round twice to hold in place. It worked better yesterday. I might have to use some glue. So you get some, it doesn't quite work, does it? Where's my other one? So I've still got my liquid in, so I don't want to take the top off. Yeah. So you get the idea, it goes around the top, the neck, and it sticks out. And then simply add the outfit. Put the pipe cleaner through the hole like that and wrap it round, and you can add sellotape just to wrap it round. Now to make it more fancy, what I did yesterday, I ruched the top. So I took some thread and I gathered the top, so I gathered it up to make this rough sort of finish, and then I sewed it down the back. Can you see that? Just to hold it in place. And I finished her off. I put a sleeve on. Here's the sleeve, that shape, and I'm just going to pin it over her arms so that her arms are covered. You can see I've just pinned it this side there. Or you could glue it, or you could sew it on, any of those. And I just put a little bit of purple fabric over her arm to show she was a dealer in purple fabric, and I gave her a belt of one of my necklaces just to fit round there to make it look more of a dress. So you can experiment with this. Here's the head from the completed head that I made earlier. You can see I've added a neck so that it fits nicely into the bottle. My plan was to use a cork, but it really didn't work out very well, so I got back to doing the salt dough and doing a neck with salt dough, so that using the cocktail stick I can put it in and move it around so that it's more or less how I want it. And there we have Lydia, the dealer in purple cloth, who welcomed Paul and Silas into her home and was ready to share all her possessions with the church. Thank you for watching. See you next time.